I want to talk a little bit about carbide tips. That would be up to the manufacturer who manufactures your saw blade, but you might want to know what tip is in your saw blade if you're cutting some more unique materials or very dense materials or soft materials. A C1 tip is more of a metal cutting grade. It goes off of a different scale. So for the woodworking industry or the non-ferrous industry, we're going to talk about C2 to C4 carbides. A C2 carbide should be used if you're in the primary wood industry, cutting cants from logs, or you have a cant, which is a large piece of material that's natural wood, hardwood, or softwood. C2 is typically used because they're very coarse saw blades. There's a lot of cutting pressure per tooth, and we want to use a C2 carbide. And let me back up one second and talk about what carbide is. Carbide is a sintered material that's held together under heat and pressure. If you could, for analogy's sake, sand, just picture all fine particles of sand and then Elmer's glue holding it together. That's a sintered material. You've got a powdery substance. In carbide's case, it's tungsten and cobalt being held together with a bonding agent under great pressure. That's what a carbide tip is. It's a sintered material held together. Now, the more tungsten we have, it goes up the C scale. The more cobalt we have, it's lower on the C scale. So cobalt is used for toughness, and tungsten is used for hardness. So C2 is used in the primary wood industry. The most standard carbide used in carbide tip saw blades is C3. C3 can be used for cutting panel goods, for corian, for plastic, all the way up to cutting aluminum. It's a very, very good grade of carbide. That's the most general grade of carbide. When we're going up to C4s, this is, in the C4 grade, there's micrograins and there's different bonding agents made. For instance, when you cut corian, a different solid surface, chemicals are released that will actually start breaking down the bonding agent that holds the carbide together. So we would use a C4 carbide with a special bonding agent in it for corian saw blades. And you'll see those in our catalog with an M on the end of the part number. But C4 is extremely hard, it's more brittle, it's more like glass than iron, but it stays sharp very long in materials like melamine or cabinet grade plywoods. It stays sharp very, very long time. Glues in the materials that you're cutting are very abrasive, and we want a very hard grade of carbide. They don't carry a particularly heavy chip load, they're just very abrasive, so they'll dull your tooth. So as you're selecting your saw blade, we need to also select the right number of teeth and the right carbide grade for your application.